Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Teri Hunter, here on Lada's channel. It's Sunday morning, at least where I live, so it must be Teri time. Good morning, Nikki. It's good to see you. Hope you've had a great week. We've got a full moon in Aquarius at 11 degrees. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, Andra. 11 degrees, the 11th degree represents Aquarius. So this is sort of a double Aquarian energy. Yes, Tebow reckons he will be late today. I guess he reached out to Nikki. Good morning, Sabrina. Nice to see you. Good morning, 13 Capricorns. That's a lot of Capricorns, probably going through a lot of stuff. So anyway, welcome back, everybody. Hi, Jacob. So good to see you here. Good morning, Bugs, honey. Yeah, you're a new name in the chat. So where I was going with this full moon is, 2020, pick your challenging transit, pick your opportunity for transformation. If it isn't one aspect, it's another. So here today, or tomorrow actually, on the 3rd or the 4th, wherever you are in the world, we're going to have this full moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus. So what does Uranus rule? Aquarius. What does it represent? Liberation, freedom, expect the unexpected, nervousness, kinetic energy, lightning, electricity. Some of you may be feeling so edgy and so nervous for reasons you don't even know why. And I think also what I want to say about the 11th degree is we've talked about what the number 1 represents. It represents our thoughts. It represents the spirit asking us, where are we focusing? Because what we're focusing is manifesting. So I want to offer it this way. I feel like for those of us who sit in awareness, who spend time and effort being conscious in how you show up, then this Aquarius full moon has an opportunity for us to really look at not only our thoughts, but how we have certain loops that come up inadvertently, or even certain people that may trigger certain loops within the way we think. And is that loop actually active? Is it present? Is it relevant in today's moment? Or is it a loop from yesteryear? Because I think this is an opportunity to transcend some of those things. And when I say transcend them, I'm not talking about releasing them. I'm not talking about pretending they didn't happen. I'm talking about making sense of them. It's another form of reconciling things. So, awesome, Bugs, honey. The thing about trying to be conscious is that, it's about a lot of self-forgiveness, because for the moments that you aren't conscious, because this is what Uranus can do. Uranus can have you be cooking with gas, feeling like, okay, I got this. I know where I'm going. I know who bugs me. I know how to avoid the landmines. And then boom, one comes up out of nowhere. So part of this transcending is also forgiveness, self-forgiveness, being kind of chill about, okay, I had a moment. Maybe it was a big moment, because some of them may be. A lot of us have been in concentrated groups of people for a long time now. And while we may love many of those people, there may be coming this time when we need a little freedom, which is also what Uranus represents. Good morning, Jess. Good morning, Vishal. Good morning, Jules. Good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Jacob and Marta and Denise. William, good morning. Teresa, welcome, Spiritual Queen. The Valley Group. Edward, welcome. Did I get everybody? I hope so. Hey, Shelly, good morning. I'm just about to start with to pull a card for the from the Kyle Gray deck, and this is sort of what I think is sort of an overview, a sort of a tribal group energy that we can look to, Spirit's advice for all of us. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Lisa Box. Good morning, April. Did I miss anybody? I hate when, good morning, Joan, or good afternoon, good day, good life. All right, let's do a quick general kind of overview. I also want to say this full moon, age of Aquarius is coming up. We're moving out of this dynamic of a me-focused energy into a more group-focused energy. And in that group focus, it does not mean the individual gets absorbed. And I think that lots of the energy here that the Uranian energy offers us is our unique expression, and the liberation comes from the restraints that tie us down by other people's opinions. So that's kind of where I'm thinking maybe this is a theme here. Good morning, Josiana. Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Dee Lockhart. Good morning, Tarot Bubble. Good morning, Oil Painter. You made it. Awesome, awesome. Okay, did I miss anybody? Dr. Lockhart, I think I said hi to you. All right, here we go. Our group card from the Kyle Gray deck is, dun, 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 Winter. Take care of your needs. I think this is super important. And I want to put it this way because the Winter card can represent a season. Good morning, Martina. I didn't say hi to you. And I don't know that right now I think it represents a season, although I'm hoping that as we get further and further into this year and through these transits, more peace is coming, but it's not before more disruption. So I think the key note here is to take care of your needs. Good morning, small wildflowers. We were looking for you. So yes, Jacob, prepare for the hibernation, but I think of it this way too. I think of the hibernation as an opportunity to rest, an opportunity to step out of the fray. Because sometimes when we get into a group dynamic, and even though we're trying to stand in balance, we inadvertently are so appalled by the people we believe are out of balance that we inadvertently become out of balance. So I feel like this is really a time of being extra diligent in thinking that taking care of your own needs is not a selfish act, but rather a very generous act. If there's any obligatory energy or you're stepping into a dynamic that's making you feel like, I have to do this, then maybe you can give yourself permission to say, well, maybe I get to change that to either I get to do it or I get to say I don't want to do it. Because I think in the long run, this will be more beneficial for the dynamic in general. So if it's in a relationship or even if it's in a work dynamic. And I want to offer it this way because I started to say the 11th degree, right? And I started to talk about our thoughts. So as we are aware of our thoughts, and some of those thoughts may be feeling a little challenging right now, like I really want to feel balanced, I don't want to feel stuck, but I do. And I think it's a totally appropriate thing. So there's a little bit of riding the tide, a little bit about being floating on your back during this time. And I say that as if I was in the ocean. The ocean has more control than I will ever have, no matter how hard I try to swim. So, good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Saturn Conscious. Did I miss anybody else? Christine, welcome, welcome. Okay, so, and winter's also about letting go, about a season. Here we have a full moon. Oh, Shelley, you just trigger thoughts in my head. We have a full moon. Full moons are about endings. Winter is about the ending of a season, a cycle. It's about death and rebirth. We have been going through this hugest Pluto energy. Winter could be sort of Plutonian if it was a season. So, and yes, Stephen, you will be feeling off because of all the kinetic energy of the squares. They're T squares. They're these, there's squares, and then there's grand squares, and then there's T squares. And so each one has a certain potency. And this is a pretty powerful potency for doing libertarian Aquarian things. So if you're feeling anxious and feeling off, then that's where you say, wow, I'm feeling a little anxious. Let me take a minute and just breathe and recalibrate. And even though you may be feeling, I got to go, I'm going to be late. That lateness and rushing to not be late will actually make you check into the more challenging energy, or plug in, I should say, into the more challenging energy rather than the conscious energy that you want to foster as you walk through the day. Good morning, Ruth. Why so many squares? Okay, so I really believe that it's not just even the squares. I mean, the conjunctions between the challenging planets and the, crazy comet that hasn't showed up for thousands of years, and the eclipses that are more of those this year than normal. All of this to me is part of the ascension and the transcending from where we've been to where we want to go as souls inhabiting a human experience, because so many of us take so many actions and spend so much of our lives heading down a path that was either carved for us or we feel will be acceptable to others. And very few of us really stand out in a way that and feel accepted at the same time. That's where I'm kind of going with this. I feel like there's the potential that as we're moving forward into the age of Aquarius, our uniqueness is celebrated versus an act of rebellion or an act of defiance in some way. Okay, so as we give life to this full moon, we pay attention to our thoughts, and our thoughts are based on our beliefs. We are going to be in some ways liberated through consciousness. Now, I want to say this too, because that liberation is not as if things are just going to disappear. That liberation is that wisdom that you garnish, and that the dynamic that you're not tethered to it anymore. You're not feeling like, oh no. That letting go thing for me was always so challenging. Maybe it's my Taurus moon isn't very forgiving. Maybe it's my Aries doesn't like, BS. I'm not quite sure, but whatever it is, this is what drove me to reconciliation, to transcending and turning things into a tool. Okay. So here we go. Now we're going to go on to our readings. We're going to start with Pisces like we always do, and then move forward towards Aries. Welcome, Serbia. One Ostina. Welcome, Aubrey. I said hi to Jacob. I said hi to Stephen. Hi, Flamingo. Hi, Sandra Ledesma. Oh, wow. So, your power of fortune, Sandra, is where you make your money. And there it is in a Sagittarius. And there's your MC. So you could do very well stepping into Sagittarian and Aquarian energies. Welcome, Anastasia. Okay, here we go. Pisces. What does Spirit have to say for you on this week of full moon, illumination, and the skies? Really quickly, you guys, have you noticed Jupiter and Saturn in the sky? They've been last night the moon was right in between the two of them. So this really, at least where I live, the stars are really out. So I'm excited about that. Okay. All right. And then Wishva. I can't even begin to say the rest of that. So we're going to get to Scorpio eventually. You'll see I start with Pisces and work my way forward. Welcome, Ivana. Or work my way backwards, I guess, from the traditional wheel. And I want to say this too. I just lost my train of thought. Dang, what was it? Don't know. Anyway, it'll come back to me. Welcome, Home Sweet Home. Welcome, Angelique. Welcome, Allie Wharton. Good to see everybody. Oh, you're looking at the moon now? That's awesome. Okay, so here we go. Pisces, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And I want to put it this way. I say rising sun because it's a habit, but I really think it's rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I say stelliums because when you have 4 planets in one house or in one sign, it is significant, especially if it's in the sign. But the house is also very significant. So pay attention to that energy. All right, here we go. Pisces, our first angel is Shanti, the angel of peace. The second is Oceana. The third is Azure. And the final is Xana. We're going to marry these for those of you that haven't been on my show before. Oh, good morning, Sapa. Hope I said that well. Good morning, Susan. Chappelle, I use two different decks. I use one based on angels, and the second is based on the Legend of Camelot. And I move the two together, and or marry them together, and it gives me a little bit more detail since we're talking to such a large group. Good morning, Barbara 0611. Okay, joining Shanti, the Angel of Peace is the Risk card. Oceana is being joined by the Dragon. Azure is being joined by the Perception card. And Xana is being joined by the Serpent. All right, my Pisces, here we go. Yes, it was Small Wildflowers. It was Jupiter was the brighter star, as one would see, and Saturn was the duller star. Good morning, Rhonda. Okay, Pisces. I know I drive everyone crazy who's watching the playback. I apologize. It's just I get distracted and we're yapping. Okay, Shanti is the Angel of Peace. And she's offering a new era of peace. But how do we get that peace? Whatever is disrupting that peace must move out or be reconciled or be in some ways addressed. And there's the Risk card. And the Risk card is really, I think this is very much in alignment with this full moon in Aquarius, because the risk may be actually stepping into your truth, the authentic, I guess how I want to say it is liberating and freeing yourself from something that isn't working for you, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be a thought process. And I really want to go to the thought process because there could very well be an internal dialogue going on that would play to the 11 degree. 11 is the 11th house of Aquarius. Uranus rules edginess. It rules anxiety. It rules nervous breakdowns. So you may be feeling like a little bit edgy this week because you're realizing that there's something that is standing energetically in your own way. And I really think that it has to do with a loop of thought. I feel like our brain is a muscle. Okay. So the muscle gets branded. And so I don't know how easy it is to just say, oh, I'm over it, especially for me. So I need to find a way to work with it. So that's where I feel like Shanti is going, okay, so I have this loop of thought. And what if somehow I catch myself in that loop of thought? And rather than being mad at myself, I just don't judge it. That's where I kind of want to go. Because if I'm just not judging it, somehow I'm getting in the neutral zone. And the neutral zone is moving me closer to where I want to be, in a peaceful place. And I want to say this too, because Pisces, if indeed the news is inflammatory to you, I think it's a very smart dynamic this week to be mindful of what you're feeding your intuitive and emotional and spiritual body in the way of outside sensory perceptions. So in the opportunity, the obstacle, our strength is gathered when Pisces is brave, risking, moving towards what they want. Oceana is saying, take action to lovingly assert yourself. She's swimming up through the ocean in the light. And then there's a whale. And if you look in the back of the card, it looks like the stars to me, very much. And those stars to me are really more about seeing a bigger version, looking at things from God's perspective, from source energy, from the universe, and then moving myself emotionally. The water is emotions. That's where my power and strength is going to lie. And I'm going to nail this even more for Pisces, because in the angel's advice is the Perception card. And as you're saying, your desired outcome will occur in the very near future. Have patience and faith and don't try to force it. Force is a lack of faith. Force is a fearful energy that if I don't do this, it won't actually happen. And more times than not, it's supposed to be a receptive energy that allows things to come into your experience, which will then help change your perception and then anchor in where you've been risking a bigger picture of yourself. Because in the final position, Pisces, is Xana, the angel of protection, and the serpent. And I always think of the snake as shedding a skin. It's like giving me a new opportunity to start a new chapter. And then Xana for me, is not really about physical harm. It's about emotional harm. It's about spiritual harm. For me personally, when I've studied spirituality, metaphysics, astrology, we don't take the details, the Mercurian things into our next life. We don't take them. We don't even leave them in this life. We forget the details of how things happen. But what we feel is the emotion. What we feel is how it landed on us. So what I'm trying to say for Pisces is, as you risk allowing things that are not bringing peace in your life to either take a back burner, sit on the sideline, or you just decide, I'm not going to address this right now. I just don't need to run in and do this right now, because if I step in, I'm not going to be standing on the vibration, in the frequency, in the energy I want to purport to get the outcome I want. So allowing yourself to find and really, Oceana, you're a Pisces, Neptune, here we go. All of this is about taking action on an interior level, on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and really on some level getting really deep in how are you supporting your own disruption? How are you supporting your own unhappiness in some way? Spirit asked me years ago, when I was very frustrated in a relationship, I heard them say, what are you pretending not to know? And then they answered the question. This is what you're pretending not to know. And when I really looked at it and I started to let's find out if that's true. And it all started with in here rather than out there. So the pandemic, the protests, the election in the United States, I don't know how it affects the world at large. If it does bother any of the rest of you, boy, people are freaked out around here. But anyway, my point is that all of those things are still happening on the outside. So you as an individual and a soul get to choose how much you step into what creates disruption and how much you step into what creates peace. Okay, here we go. On to Aquarius, your moon. Silly me. Okay. It's super foggy here today. Well, I'm so glad for those of you that got to catch it live that you're not, that you're actually here, because it's the watching this live is just different, I think, than watching the playback because of the community and because of the way we interact in the chat. So I'm really excited to see more and more of you here. Shelley, you're scared about the change. I want to offer it this way. Whether we realize it or not, every day is change. And I think sometimes when we view change, we think of it as a big tidal wave coming at us, when if we break it down into small steps or small intentional thoughts and then actions based on that, then those changes can actually serve a bigger dynamic that makes us more happy or makes us more fulfilled on this planet. And this is what I really think, is that when we do this for ourselves, it's the most selfless thing we can do, because then we're already teed up and supportive of other people doing it for themselves, even people we don't agree with. Because as we start to focus in on, our own happiness matters, then we look at other people and we don't have to agree with what makes them happy. We just have to know that they deserve to have that as much as I deserve to have what I want. So I am reading Teri for each sign. I go backwards. I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. I go rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And I say moon second is because moon rules our emotions and our beliefs. So that's why I think it's really powerful. And I'm not saying the sun isn't, but the sun, each sun sign that as we incarnate, we're going to identify with that sun in a different way. But the emotions, I think they traverse from lifetime to lifetime because we bring them with us to work on. Okay. Aquarius, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And I always say it wrong because it's a habit I have. Hey, Nirvana Flux, welcome back. Yes, exactly, Jacob. You're so right on. Resistance meets the tidal wave with a tidal wave of your own. I was on my high school, on Facebook, my high school, high school. I should actually say grammar school. These people have this whole thread, and these people are so jacked up and upset about something, and it's just one, I hate. And all I could see was whatever they're hating, they're just bringing right to them and sticking to them like crazy glue. So it's not about saying you can't hate something. It's just about the focus of the hate. There's so much focus on hate. Even if you hate pickles, you'll end up seeing pickles everywhere. It doesn't have to be anything really crazy or racist or anything, volatile. All right. I promised Juan, I'm actually going to go to Aquarius right now. I'm sorry. HeyBomb.com. Good to see you. Yes, Izzy, law of attraction. Exactly. People only think about the law of attraction. Ooh, I want to attract a boyfriend. Ooh, I want to attract money. You're attracting stuff all day long. Okay. Aquarius. Our first angel is Oceana. The second is Aurora. The third is Yvonne. And the final is Maya. Okay, here we go. Okay, Oceana is being joined by the Letting Go card. Aurora is being joined by the Joy card. Yvonne is being joined by the Love card. And Maya is being joined by the Perception card. Oh, yes, Jacob, what we resist persists. Okay, so this feels like so thematic in the sense of, again, we have this Aquarian dynamic in the full moon being in Aquarius at 11 degrees. It's the 11th house, the 11th sign. 11s and 1s represent how we think. Aquarius is not always the most emotional moon. It can be very, because it thinks in the humanitarian, it thinks about the big picture. So it doesn't always acknowledge the individual. It's like Spock, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one. So this is where I'm going with this, because again, here we have Oceana, and she's swimming up through the emotions. Now, this feels to me for Aquarius just slightly different, because Aquarius may be very focused on the world at large, on, the imbalance, on the anger and the frustration that people are feeling. And this to me is really the letting go card. It's not about letting go of it or letting go of your emotions. It's more about the song from Frozen. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. And I say that this way because I feel like as we swim up through, like when I see Oceana and she's coming up through the light, and then I see the whale represents to me the soul's yearning, the soul's calling, and the soul's intention. So for me, this is really about Aquarius being able to emotionally reconcile that there is something bigger going on within all of this disruption that we're experiencing on the planet. And that this disruption has a wisdom beyond what we can see right now, and holding space for that. Because Aurora says that as you're flying high right now, don't descend. It may threaten others, but they will soon be inspired by your example. And I want to say it this way, because Aurora to me is breaking the box of thought. What is Uranus? It's individual, it's unique, its expression is liberating and freeing. It breaks the old dynamic. And then we have the Joy card. I feel like this is, again, the letting go card. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, but it also is time to see what I can do to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. This is the foundational position. And I feel like this is about breaking the box of thought in a collective way where you are more vulnerable to love. And I want to put it this way. I don't think this is about individual love. I think it's about humanity. I think it's about the collective. I think it's about our cities, our towns, and having more of a broader viewpoint of how people are processing this time. Everybody's processing it very different. And some people are being inflamed by it, and others are being, riddled with fear. And at the same time, everybody wants to transform into a place of more connectedness, but not necessarily by being together with the physical body, but more about being able to just be myself and walk down the street and feel like, hey, it's all good. Because I hope this is all making kind of sense, because for Aquarius, I have Maya, the angel of education, and the perception card. I really feel like this is about learning about our perceptions and how each one of us, somebody was, I can't remember who said it now, but the law of attraction. Our perception is the seedling for the law of attraction. And for Aquarius, I feel like there is a part of you that is focused on humanity, on a bigger dynamic, on your cities, on your school systems, on, it could be where you're just thinking about, how's my kid going to get back to school? How are they going to have their teenage experience if they're locked in this house? Having me teach them. And at the same time, I'm not doing a very effective job, because at the end of the day, I feel like for Aquarius, this full moon may release you from energy. I want to say it this way. It feels like thought processes that allow for more individual thought and outside the box, but not within yourself. It's more like allowing other people their process, and coming from a place of love and standing within your own out of the box thinking, but not feeling like I have to defend it, not going into that energy that ends up getting muddied somehow. We start off with the best intentions, I be me, you be you, and then somebody starts to jack up in our face about who we are, and then we inadvertently turn into something that we didn't want to be. I hope that made sense. Okay, so going on to Capricorn. Oh, Nirvana Flux, are you still asymptomatic? I hope you don't have any symptoms. One of my clients ended up with COVID as well, and she just got super tired, but she's okay now. Sound relaxation, you're absolutely right. The dark night of the soul, the cocoon, you can't, and the butterfly goes through so many deaths before it becomes who it is. Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear you're completely recovered. Awesome. Okay, here we go, Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, talk about a transformation. You guys have been, I don't care whether it's the sun, the moon, the rising, but if it's a stellium in Capricorn, you have literally been that caterpillar in that cocoon and going through transformation. And I feel like there's so much beauty ahead for you, and in a way that redefines those rules that Capricorn is so used to living by, and transforming that fear into really being able to determine where there's false evidence appearing real, and what is really something to be feared. The fear is not always illusionary. So this really feels like an opportunity to step into a big new chapter. Okay, here we go. Saturn consciousness, if you're feeling stagnant, it's just that hibernation period before the next inspiration comes. And part of maybe the journey is learning not to fight it, because the goat's going to want to go up the mountain. It's going to want to get to the top of the tree. You guys have seen those goats in the trees, right? Because I think they're in Africa. But in any way, because that's part of it. Aries has this kind of thing going on too, because Aries wants to move, but there's a baton pass. There's a give and take. So if you're feeling a little bit stagnant, then there could be energies that are going to be moving out, and you couldn't move through them if you tried. So you might as well rest and relax and strategize. Okay. Yes, the angel whisperer, it has been truly, I really feel like this is like going through some sort of revolutionary war, but it's not about property. It's not about, claiming your land and I want it. It's about claiming ourselves and the land that we live in, which is our mind, our body, our heart, our soul. Okay. I love these Kyle Gray cards. All right, Capricorn. Serena, the angel of abundance, is our first angel. The second is Archangel Uriel. The third is Ariel. And the final is Merlina. Okay. Serena is being joined by the Bee card. Archangel Uriel is being joined by the Fear card. Ariel is being joined by the Wind Fairy. And Merlina is being joined by the Butterfly. Okay, really? Are you kidding me? We're just having this whole conversation. All right. Serena is the angel of abundance. And she is honestly just depicted by her name. She is serene. The resources that she needs, the things that Capricorn wants to have a certain amount of financial security, wants to have a certain amount of recognition for their efforts. And I feel like this is all coming, but it's about being relaxed. It's about taking time to really inventory all the hard work that you've done with your being energy. That's what the bee represents for me. The bee is sweet victory. It's good luck. It is industriousness. And I have really been witnessing Capricorn paying attention to their being energy. I have felt like for this last year and the intensity of the transit between Pluto and Saturn, and then Jupiter coming in, Jupiter representing the connection to the angelic realm, higher beliefs and thoughts. And these thoughts to me are the connection to the to spirit, to moving into a more spiritual way of viewing the world and yourself. And then we've talked about Saturn transforming from the hard work of the human hard work. I got to go to work every day. I got to pay my bills to be good. I got to clean my house every day. I got to call my mom every week. Those are all kind of Saturnian obligatory energies. Saturn to me has been shifting into how do I feel about that now? And I know Saturn isn't a feely, touchy thing, but I feel like Saturn is saying, well, if you really want something, if you really want to be a painter, then if you do the hard work of moving towards being a painter, you study painting, you paint every day, you go into that being energy, then Saturn will reward. So that's what I'm thinking is the rewards are coming for you, Capricorn, because you've been paying attention to your being energy. And on some level, your opportunity is to rise above your frustration with being stuck or feeling stagnant as you unravel whatever false evidence is appearing real in your life. Because Spirit, in the angel's advice, is changing the way you view yourself and others and the way you think. This thinking here is about assessing. It's about analyzing the dynamics of where habitual thoughts, the thoughts that you were given by your school teachers and by your parents and by the people who were authoritative over you. And now it's about rewriting that a little bit and determining which rules you like and work for you and which rules really didn't work for you. Because I believe there's more being shown to you. Serena is telling you that God and the angels and the universe, source energy, is bringing whatever you want to you by your being energy. But your being energy has not actually brought it into manifestation just yet, which is what this whole 2020 is about. So Merlina is going to talk about being confused because you're still in the cocoon. You're still coming through. Here we have Saturn going retrograde in Capricorn. Then we have it's going to go forward again. And it's going to be, honestly, like, I don't know, 6-7 months before it actually moves away from Pluto for a while. Jupiter's moved out of the story. Well, we're going to have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Sorry, forgot about that one coming up for next year. But my point is I really feel for Capricorns to be light of heart, to enjoy this time of evolution, to allow for this observing of the things around you that may be breaking away. And you may have been fearful of those breakaways, but they're going to actually bring in more dynamics that you're going to learn to or experience in it from a more joyful place. And then some of the fear that Saturn rules is going to be transformed as well. And that fear, I've said this on many shows, without fear, we would never know exhilaration. We would never know empowerment. We would never know achievement. We'd never know what we can actually do, what we can actually produce. So, because it wouldn't feel good if we could just do it easily, then it's just like, oh well, it doesn't matter. It has no emotional kick. So, all right, on to Sagittarius. Okay. Here we go, on to Sagittarius, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. All right, give it a good shuffle. Sagittarius, our first angel is Rochelle. The second is Merlina. The third is Opal. And the final is Athena. All righty. Oh, yeah, we haven't seen Brianna for a little bit. Hey, BM, good to see you. Welcome. Oops. Okay. A little more shuffling here. Oh, Rhonda, if you have a Sag moon and rising, then you are definitely, this one's for you. Okay. Rochelle is being joined by the dragon. Merlina's being joined by the high priestess. Opal's being joined by Merlin. And the butterfly is coming out again. Okay. A little bit of a theme going on here? I think so. All right. So, Sagittarius, your strength comes as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart. And I want to offer it this way, because strength is never about physical strength. It's not about lifting something or even endurance. It's about a joyful it's a joyful energy. Rochelle, for me, and I hate to say this, but I do, she is my favorite angel, because as she talks about following my heart, then I'm prospering, not just in my physical body or my financial body, but in my emotional body, in my spiritual body. I'm feeling, I trust the decisions I've made. I trust the path I've been on, and I feel closer connected to God and to the angels and to all that is as a result of following my heart. And that's even further evidenced in the opportunity of the obstacle, Sagittarius, because Merlina is saying you're confused and indecisive because maybe you're not really allowing yourself to step into your vision because you're stuck in the, how will I make it happen? How will I birth this thing I want? For years, I wanted to work in the spiritual world. And it was not a hot topic growing up. I think most of you know I'm 60 years old. So for 40 years, 50 years of my life, this was all voodoo and weird stuff. But as I've aged and as the world has transformed, my vision of myself has started to come into play. And I had to step into the unknown of my vision. I didn't have a guarantee. So I had to be very mindful in order to lift my confusion, to lift my uncertainty, I had to continue to get into the vision of what I wanted and how it feels versus how I would get there. Because in the angel's advice is Opal and Merlina. And Merlina and Merlin they come out together quite a bit. And when they do, to me, it's always about magic. Merlina is a wizard. She's a woman. But so is Merlin. Merlin is the grand wizard. And again, there's another dragon. The dragon comes from as you follow your heart. And this is evidenced by the children here. I don't think that represents actual physical children as much as it is referencing your vision of yourself. That's what I think for Sagittarius, what you want to experience. Because in the final position is Athena and the butterfly. So yes, you are going through a metamorphosis, as we all are. But in some respects, certain energies, certain people, certain souls have chosen to really go through sort of a accelerated version of transformation, putting out the 2.0 version in a way that's, I feel like Spirit is saying that you're anxious to get on with it. That's the way I want to put it. So to me, your strength comes from being able to stay in your heart chakra and allow for this transformation, and to be mindful of what energies actually put doubt in your mind, what energies around you feed the story that you're afraid of, and what energies around you feed the story that you're faithful of, and then move towards the things that you're faithful of, just for now, almost like an experiment. And then I think you're going to start to see things start to manifest, because this is my foundational position and this is my potential outcome. So that's good, meaning those are in the 3D world. All right. Welcome, Yuritsi. Hey, Tebow, I'm glad you're here. You made it. Nikki, I said hi to you earlier. Did I miss anybody? I feel like I did. Okay, let's go on to Scorpio. Okay. Okay, here we go. Scorpio, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. If you have a stellium in Scorpio, you should be a detective or a psychologist, because you're super good at reading between the lines. You're also extremely intuitive. And that intuition should really, I shouldn't say should, but in this transformational year of 2020, I feel like it's really about Scorpio taking that intuitive dynamic within you and pumping it up. Feed it some good nutrients, give it some love, because by the end of this year, you may stand in an energetic dynamic that is pretty powerful for yourself and really transcending that Pluto energy. Okay, so Scorpio, our first angel is Serena, the angel of abundance. The second is Indriel, the light worker. The third is Maya, schooling and education. And the final is Isabella, saying, yes, the timing is right. Okay. Oil painter Chiron has some aspect to this moon as well. And it's supposed to be beneficial, but I can't quite remember what it is right now. Okay, post it up. This is you, Scorpio moon. Serena's being joined by the disruption card. Indriel's being joined by the horse. Maya's being joined by the hawk. And Isabella's being joined by the novice. You know, it's interesting when I look at Serena, because she's the angel of abundance. She talks about resources and money, but I'm not feeling it this way. I feel like it's a much more general energy, meaning this. I feel like Scorpio has been pushing a little bit or trying to affect transformation in their life, change, whether it be a new job, whether it be a relationship. And there is a dynamic which I think Serena is saying, no, we need to do this the opposite way. It's not about you trying so hard. It's about you actually receiving. It's about you actually taking no action versus taking action. And I'll tell you why I say that. Because I think the disruption card, it's not about abundance in this moment to me. I don't feel like it's about money per se. And it could be, you know, we're in a time when people are challenged money-wise, but this feels like Pluto is messing with your ability to receive. See how Serena is so calm. The universe is taking care of her. And I feel like Spirit is asking this week for you to really disrupt, and in the way, how do you receive? Because if Scorpio thinks that I have to work hard or I have to make this happen, then you need to dig deeper into that Pluto energy and then allow things to come to you, because it's about moving in a new direction. And I think this is the light worker. So if I think about this, this is not about walking and shining your light on other humans like, oh, hey, a beloved. No, it's about within your own mind, allowing yourself to move in a new direction, to rise above the darkness that Pluto will, the fear that it could put inside of you, that it could stoke. This, okay, so we have this full moon, which is tomorrow or the 4th, depending on where you are in the world. And it is in a T square, which means that it's at a 90-degree angle between the sun and the moon. So Uranus rules nerves. It rules nervous breakdowns. It rules anxiety. So I feel like there's the potential that as you look deeper into what is being brought to you, that you don't push, that in many ways, this disruption is allowing you to go into a new direction where you realize that going into the dark of Pluto isn't going to work. It's time to bring myself into the light. And as a result, the angels are offering you an energetic education about how to rise above the darkness of Pluto, how to see the bigger picture. You know, there is a wisdom to dark things. There is a wisdom to a disruption. There is, if it was all light all the time, we would be scorched by the sun. So we need the ebb and the flow of day and night, the rhythm of the opposition, because it's time, per Isabella, for a new beginning. It's not about a physical beginning. It's much more about a emotional beginning, a new beginning in that I receive versus I must make happen. I must push. You know, when I look at this, and I really kind of, even though there's no cards that refer to intimacy or refer to a relationship, I'm kind of feeling like this is where I'm going with Scorpio, that it has something to do with relationships and receiving of relationships, relationships that feel more give and take, more where the Scorpio person in the relationship is actually seen at that deep level, the avatar level, the level that, you know, transcends the superficial. That's the way I want to say. So for Scorpio, this is kind of feels like it's a really awesome spread as I surrender to whatever that disruption is that is not allowing me to receive. We talk about the law of attraction. You know, it's absolute formula. You know, you guys can say, oh, this is all, you know, humbo jumbo, whatever. But the law of attraction is actually, it's a formula. You can put it into play and see it start to work. But the key thing that most people don't really pay attention to is the law of allowing, which works. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It's like salt and pepper. They work together. The law of attraction does only has so much effectiveness without the law of allowing. So that allowing looks like this. I really, really want to, work in the spiritual world, but my job at the market, I don't have enough time. And then you get an opportunity to do something on the weekend spiritually, and you have to step into the unknown. Well, if I take that job, will my employer be mad at me? Or if I can't work on Saturday, will my employer be mad at me? And that's where the law of allowing is. Well, if I allow myself to believe that I can do what I want, then the universe will support that. And then you will end up finding your boss saying, oh, no worries. I'll have the new kid work on Saturdays. That's where I'm going. It's all a metaphor, but you get where I'm going. So it's time for you to give life to you, Scorpio, and to walk an unstable path and to know Spirit has your back. And you're going to learn something about yourself and your ability to create as a result of it. Okay, on to our Libras, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. I want to go to the Australia Zoo. That's where I want to go. Okay. Here we go. Libra, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And while I'm shuffling, I'm just going to be unabashed and say, hey, you guys, please hit the like button. It's so fun to see likes. Okay. Thank you, Dawn. All right, here we go. Libra, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Sandra, I have Pluto next to Venus too. That's very interesting. It doesn't mean anything as far as your age goes because Venus moves so much faster than Pluto, but I have them conjunct in depending upon whether it's Placidus or whole sign, they're actually in Virgo, in Placidus in the 5th house and in whole sign in the 6th. So I think part of my work is to help transform people to accept Venusian things, to accept beauty, to accept art is viable, to accept creation is viable, to enjoy the fruits of abundance and self-worth. I really believe that. So, all right, here we go. On to our Libras. Our first angel is Bethany, the angel of self-care. Then we have Vanessa, the angel of faith or fear. Then we have Bridget, asking us to look deeper. And then we have Isaiah, offering new beginnings. Thank you, Rhonda. You liked and shared. I love that. Wow, Dawn, that's Pluto next to Venus and Uranus in Virgo, whole sign, 5th house. Wow. That would make for unexpected, really transformational love affairs, I would think. Maybe this T-square is going to bring some unexpected fun your way. You know, not every unexpected thing has to be bad. Not every unexpected thing has to be that frying pan hitting you upside the head. Us humans, we tend to go down the fear train so quick. Okay. Libra, joining Bethany. Oh, is the wasp. Yuck. I'm a Libra, that's why I say that. Joining Vanessa is the focus card. Joining Bridget is the perception card. And joining Isaiah is the queen. All right, so Bethany's about self-care, about taking care of yourself. She'll talk about getting a manicure or a pedicure. But it's really a bigger picture. And Libra is the sign of partnerships, the sign of diplomacy, the sign of balance. So oftentimes, you know, we'll think that Libra will be predisposed to partnership. And I think that there is a potential here that this week the WASP is really representing balance in partnership, balance in, and I want to say it this way, I don't think it's just necessarily intimate partnership. It could be balance in your work dynamic, balance in your friendship dynamic, balance in your financial body. Because I feel like, for instance, you know, Libra, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. If your friend calls you and she's freaked out by, you know, her boyfriend, or your friend calls you and he says, you know, I don't know about work or whatever the story is, there could be a dynamic where Libra's not being seen, that you feel a little bit like a receptacle or some sort of vessel for everyone to put their imbalance in, and you might be feeling a little bit over the top. That's where that wasp is coming, because in the opportunity, the obstacle, I have faith over fear and the focus card. And when I looked at that, I thought to myself, there's a little shadow side on Libra that can be passive aggressive. You know, it's like, I want to be there for you. I want to be there for you. And then I'm like, well, when are you ever there for me? And that's what that focus card felt like, because then Libra might need to be the one that says, I need to take care of a little bit of me without expecting the other person to be cognizant of that or to see it. I say that because in the Angel's Advice, I have Bridget, the card of caution, looking deeper into a situation. And then there's the perception card. And I feel like that to truly show balance, Libra gets to take care of themselves without feeling a stinging energy of obligation. If you're a mom and you're a Libra and you have kids, obviously if you're a mom, you have kids, but I mean, if you got more than 1 or 2 kids, you got a busy life, and all of your life may be going out, out, out. I feel like I'm talking to Cancer a little bit here, but I know I'm talking to Libra because it's time to give birth to new ideas, and there's the Queen. And I think this is going back to that law of allowing myself to receive. And it's time to give birth to new ideas and situations about self-care, about taking care of myself, and that it's not a stingy thing. It's not a negative thing to enjoy. I want to go back to the olden days when you could just go get a massage, or you could just go, you know, get a pedicure or a manicure. And And I say it in such a way that it may be a busy Saturday and your kids have a busy life, and you're saying, I need to be over here for them. But if I'm going to be over there for them, I may get cranky because I'm not taking care of me at all. And so maybe if I just took care of me and I went and got that manicure and then met them at the game, I'd be in a better mood because my nails look good. That's kind of where I'm going. It's very metaphoric this week, but it's time to give birth to new ideas about receiving things. And I want to say this too, because if these relationships have been imbalanced, and let's say I started off saying, your friends are calling you and they're all freaked out and you feel like a big receptacle, then part of that might be you being able to diplomatically say to them, hey, you know what? My cup is full. I ain't got no more room. No more room. Because we're all kind of getting to our limit, guys. We're getting to our limit in what we can tolerate and in balance. And I think that Libra's just about had enough of it. All right. Pardon me. I'm going to do a little cough, clearing my throat, and going on to Virgo. Me too, Shelley. I love this group of people. Souls that meet together. I love our newbies. I love our old bees. I love just the vibration. We haven't had any trolls in the longest time, you guys. Do you know what that means? That means our vibration is so palatable and so, I want to say hi, loving, that they're not even interested in coming in here. I'm trying to stay hydrated. Thank you. I've given up coffee. I've given up all alcoholic beverages. I'm on like week 5 now of no coffee, no alcoholic beverages. And yeah, it's been pretty easy actually, that part. So now I'm thinking about the next thing I can conquer, which would be sugar or dairy, which I'm floating in and out of. Okay, here we go. So our Virgos, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Our first angel is Archangel Raphael, the physical healer. Shanti is the second. The third is Merlina. Boy, she's making her presence known. And the final is Indriel. Thank you, Stephen. My little earrings. Joining Archangel Raphael is the mystery card. Joining Shanti is the cow. Joining Merlina is the perception card. Wow. And joining Indriel is the bee. Virgo represents the 6th house, which represents health. It represents physical wellness and illness and slavery and other things. And it's interesting because when I look at Archangel Raphael and the mystery card, I feel like this is really about choice. And when I say it, I feel like this is about the physical body, but I don't think anybody's sick. Archangel Raphael talks about being a physical healer, meaning Virgo is a physical healer, 6th house, and that you have the ability to help others heal as well as yourself. But I don't think that this is about an action, which is what Virgo would want to take. It would be practical to take an action. If I don't feel well, I should take some vitamin C. But I think this is coming in a bigger way. I think this is about illumination. See how Archangel Raphael has all of this light coming out the top of his crown chakra? And he's got these open arms. I'm going to go to the final position and then I'll go back. Now we have our bee and we have Indriel. Look at Indriel. The light coming out the top of her head. Look at her arms are open. I think this is about a shift in your being energy, Virgo. I think that this is where the healing comes in. I feel like we're in a full moon. We have these T-squares that are, Uranus squaring the moon and the sun, who we are outside, how we feel inside, sudden expected changes. Maybe there's a little bit of an opportunity to let go of that nervous energy that makes you feel like you're supposed to be practical. And instead, you're starting to pay attention to your being energy, which is actually producing a healing, which is a reconciliation. And I'm going to go to the opportunity or the obstacle. Virgo is learning how to receive, which is bringing peace. Here's Shanti, the angel of peace. She says, I'm the angel of peace. I bring a new tranquility and a smoother road ahead. And there's the cow. Nourishment, asking and receiving, and abundance. And I want to say this too, because some of you that are Virgos may be changing something about your diet. I wouldn't be surprised. But that shifting of your dietary dynamic is going to help your being energy. So let me go back a little bit. I said I stopped drinking alcohol. I didn't stop drinking alcohol because I don't like alcohol or because I was drinking too much alcohol. I stopped drinking alcohol because of the sugar, because I was starting my day with a mocha. I was drinking chocolate and espresso and almond milk, and then I wouldn't eat. And then in the evening, I would have dinner and I would have my wine, and I was getting too much sugar. So I thought, what will happen to my body if I'm not getting so much sugar? And I start putting more nutrients into my body. And that's when I started to see my being energy start to shift again. I'm not saying that I wasn't surprised that I could be tired when I haven't been drinking, or that I would have a slight headache. But I think that's part of the detoxing process, because I hope I'm not getting too crazy here with you guys. I think that Merlina is offering Virgo a shift in perception. So there's two things going on here. There is very much the possibility that your physical body gets to do a little bit of shifting on how you're treating it with your nutrients. But more so than not, I think that the physical healing comes from the choice of shining your light, being your individual self. And even if that individual self likes a certain amount of routine or a certain amount of consistency, because this is where your peace is going to come in. And this is really about abundance as well. And the asking and receiving of acceptance, and allowing the acceptance is not of others, it's of yourself, your own perception. And you becoming reconciling with that. And then you feel more rooted in your light worker body, more rooted in your spiritual body. And that helps your being energy, which then brings more abundance and good luck to you. And considering the pandemic, some of you may be feeling a little bit run down, and this may not be because your physical bodies are run down, but your emotional and spiritual bodies have been pummeled with wear a mask, stay indoors, whatever the story, is, because it's definitely a big story. All right, let's go on to our Leos. Your sun, and in some ways your full moon as well, because, Leo, Aquarius access, the opposition. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Whiskey for breakfast? Whoa. You guys weren't listening, clearly. I said I gave up booze. I didn't say I was drinking more. Okay, here we go. I actually ordered some chocolate off of Amazon. I had a client give me this chocolate bar. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's called the Unreal Bar, and it's just coconut and dark chocolate and like agave. Oh my goodness. This thing was so delicious. I can't wait for them to arrive. Okay, here we go. Oh, Shelley, yeah, Libra can be a little bit of a bossy. I'm a Libra, and my sister would probably say I was bossy to her, but my mom wasn't a very good leader. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Flamingo, I just woke up and decided I didn't want to do it. It was like there was no resistance. There was no plan. It just sort of, and now I've been drinking all this tea, becoming like a little bit of a tea connoisseur. And I feel so much better. It's like there was a weird depression kind of feeling coming with this year and all that. And that's really what I didn't want the alcohol to feed, that erosion. Neptune can be very erosive. So yes, Marta, exactly. Do you know the bar? Is that what you know what I'm talking about? I think it is a vegan's chocolate bar. Okay. All right, here we go. This is for our Leos. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette. The second is Crystal. The third is Athena. And the final is Caressa. All right, here we go. Oh, Marta, you are, I'm not that good I'm not that good. I'm a good eater, but I'm not a good chef. I can, but cooking for one is just not fun. Okay. Oh, Ruth, I'll have to check that one out. Honey Mamas, huh? All right, here we go. Leo, joining Grace and Antoinette is the B card. Crystal is being joined by the Wind Fairy. Athena is being joined by the Perception card. Boy, we're seeing a theme. And Caressa is being joined by the Fear card. You know, each week when I do these readings, I don't necessarily remember them, but I remember themes on signs. And one of the things that I've been feeling for Leo for quite some time is that, you know, Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun rules our zodiac. And oftentimes Leo will get that, oh, they're a Leo. They're going to come in and suck up all the air in the room, or they're going to be big and they're going to think they're so cute and funny, and maybe they're not. But you know what? I got to say, I feel like Leo, we need your energy, honey. We need it. And here's about the being energy, and here's compassion. And I really don't think this is about compassion for others, although I do think that compassion for the collective right now is important. But I think this is compassion for self as you step into a more rooted dynamic of who and what you are. If we ever needed fifth house Leo energy, it's the 2020. We have been robbed of our hobbies. We've been robbed of our playtime. We've been robbed of romance. It's just been so, and I don't mean robbed, you know, like somebody's trying to steal it from us, but you know, we've been in lockdown and we haven't been able to enjoy each other's companies and enjoy our hobbies. And I was thinking more like sports hobbies. I'm sure some of us can knit and do things like that in the house. But my point is this. I think it's time to get out of your head, Leo, and to start to have faith that there is something. Crystal talks about something bigger on the horizon that you can't see. And I feel like this is about your perception of yourself and who and what you are. And I want to say it this way, because not every Leo is confident and, you know, walks in a room like, hey, I'm here. Somebody, you may be shy. You may have squares or aspects that make your Leo energy a little bit quieter or dumbed down. But I don't think this is about judging your energy at all. I think it's about expressing it. I think it's about allowing yourself to have fun and to show the rest of us who've been stuck in some sort of obligatory energy how to have fun, how to have a good time, how to enjoy the fruits of this planet, even if those fruits are a little small right now. Because I feel like Leo has been kind of trying to, I don't quite know how to, because I don't want to say you want to be a team player, because how does the sun be a team player when you're the king of the zodiac? But also at the same time, I feel like Leo's been trying to be mindful of other people and help lift them up as well. And then there's some people that have maybe just been stuck, and rather than meeting you halfway, so, you know, they want you to dumb down all the way so that they can feel comfortable. And I don't think you're supposed to do that. I think you're supposed to stand strong, because here's Caressa saying you're coming to the end of a life cycle. And again, this is where false evidence appearing real. Why in the world should anybody give up having a good time because somebody else doesn't want them to have it? Now, I'm not talking about, you know, standing underneath someone's window, partying at 2:00 in the morning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fifth house of creative expression, of, you know, creative hobbies and of a creative genius. That's where I'm going with it. This real, the dynamics. Leo represents all the things that we want to be when we come into this planet on some level. I don't want to take it away from the other signs, but there's not a lot of heavy energy in Leo. There's not a lot of heavy energy in the fifth house. So to me, I feel like I want to say to Leo to have compassion with yourself as you step into winning more. And if you win and other people don't like it, they're like, why do you get to win and I don't get to win? It could be their attitude. So don't dumb down, be you, and then let them come up and meet you there. That's where I'm going with this. I hope this makes sense, because I think this is about false evidence. That means fear-based people trying to turn me into something I'm not. And I got to tell you, I come from a family which I got to think, I don't know where Saturn was when these people were born, but I feel like everybody's got Saturn sitting right here, and I don't. So I'm like, my Aries rising goes, I can do that if I try, if I get my being energy, and I'm willing to try. I'm willing to fall down and fail where others are not. And then I get that judgmental look at me. So Leo, if you're getting that judgmental look, it's kind of time to say, well, you know what? You do you, honey, but I'm going to be me and do me. Hey, Melissa, welcome. Space for the soul. Panicking right now, ungrounded, so I thought maybe the angels were over here. Space for the soul. You know what? Do you have a crystal? Maybe a more earthbound stone, even a rock, something you can put your feet in soil, or, you know, that'll help ground you. You may be feeling this square between, we have a T-square between the sun and the moon and Uranus, which is going to make you feel very panicky, very edgy. So don't drink any coffee. Don't jack yourself up anymore. And again, do your best. We'll send you some love and light to help with your grounding. Everybody, send it to Space for the Soul. Okay, and to Melissa too, because I think she had a rough week, if I remember. No, Leo women, I don't think Leo likes to be dumbed down at all, and I don't think they should be. There's a reason. There's a reason that the universe and God and the angels and whoever runs this show made each one of these dynamics and these zodiac signs for a certain representation and opportunity. Okay. I was going to try to get this done by 12:30, so it would only be an hour and a half, so I better get myself moving on to Cancer. See if I can get 4 signs done in 15 minutes. Welcome, Cecilia. Thank you, Cece Pops. You are so wonderful. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Did I miss anybody else? I hope not. Okay, here we go. This is for our Cancer, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. We don't bite, but maybe nibble a little, right, Tebow? Okay, Cancer, our first angel is Crystal. The second is Archangel Gabriel. The third is Isabella. And the final is Maya. Yes, Space for the Soul. Do your best. I would say put your feet in water, but I don't know if water is going to help. I feel like you need grounding, something more solid. Even standing on brick or something might help, or sand or dirt. Okay, Crystal is being joined by the Wind Fairy. Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the Horse. Isabella is being joined by the Wealth card. And Maya is being joined by the Movement card. Excuse me. Okay. The Wind Fairy represents our thoughts. It represents our words and intellectual analysis. Crystal represents having faith and hope. They're kind of oppositions, you know. Welcome, Korea. I'm so glad you're back. Thank you for coming. For my Cancers this week, I feel like your head is getting in the way of your heart a little bit. I feel like you're looking at the dynamics of this year and I really want to go to the family, because I just feel like some of my Cancers have been, and I want to put this too. When I say family, I don't necessarily mean their DNA family. It could be your friend family as well, because I feel like there's a certain missing of energies in my life when I check into Cancer energy. There's certain things I miss being able to do or be around that made me feel more whole and complete. And I feel like Spirit is saying your faith and you're being able to traverse your head and your heart, because your head will say, well, but this happened and this happened and this happened, and it will create some insecurity because it's time to move into a new direction. And I don't think that's a physical move as much as it's an emotional and spiritual and mental move. And that comes in the form of the horse and Archangel Gabriel asking you to turn over any of your insecurities to her for transformation. And the horse is a very intuitive energy for me. It doesn't follow fear. On the face of the card, it says accepting help from another and delegating authority. Archangel Gabriel wants you to delegate the thoughts in your mind to her so that she can bring in a faithful experience to anchor in this new dynamic. This being able to think and assess a situation for how your body and the physical has processed it, and then being able to shift into a more metaphysical, spiritual, energetic body and process it from there as well. Because this is my opportunity and or my obstacle. Insecurity is my obstacle. My opportunity is moving in a new direction by going to spirit and saying, I lack faith right now. So I need you to give me experiences, please, so that you can anchor my faith that when I put my energetic body in this direction, things start to happen, because the angels are offering you harmonious wealth, Cancer. And that is where I feel like I'm thriving. I feel like I'm firing on all cylinders in many facets of my body. They don't have to be perfect. They just feel aligned. And Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right for this. The timing is right to go in a new direction with the way that you're thinking about things, with the way you're processing. It is a viable and it is a practical solution to go into your spiritual body, because you will learn, Maya is teaching you about your educational body, that's where movement comes. So this is kind of a random example, but for all of 19, I was in this, what felt like a war of the roses with this hotel across the street. They are basically moved into a residential neighborhood and became this event palace. And I'm trying to do my readings, and they're like, playing music and all this kind of crazy stuff. So I had a lot of focus on that and how unjust it was. And I was getting more angry, and nothing happened. I ran roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I couldn't get people to listen to me of authority, even though I was trying to present my case fairly, because I had a charge on this, and a charge in a way that wasn't serving me. I'm telling you this because I learned about my energy. And when I turned away from the hotel, when I decided to turn my back on it and say, I'm powerless over this situation, but I do have an intention about it. And the intention is peace. The intention is to have this be like it was before these people showed up. They were over there, I was over here, never our paths crossed. As I stopped focusing in on the injustice and what wasn't working, and then turned it over to spirit, lots of things started to shift. But it had to start with me. Cancer, it has to start with you. Your willingness to get out of your head and into your faith body. Your willingness to turn over your insecurities in a way that says, I don't know, maybe this could happen, maybe it couldn't happen, I don't know. But you know what? There's a lot of things that are possible. And it's with the angels, connecting with them where that possibility lies. And in doing so, you're empowered by the end of the day, because what you've learned, you start to incorporate, and it creates movement. And that movement is moving you towards where you want to be. Okay. Brianna, we have missed you, darling. Everybody was asking where you are. All right, we're going on to our Geminis. Rising Sun, Moon, and Stelliums. Here we go. All right, Gemini, our first angel is Aurora. The second is Merlina. The third is Oceana. And the final is Chantal. We're pulling a lot of the same angels here. And I really have to say that for me, when they come out with the same energy, with each sign, it really proves the collective energy that we have as a tribe, and that as we stand in that highest vibration and willing to transcend what we see in the practical world, we are very powerful. And that power comes from a loving space. That's kind of where I'm going with that. All right. You know, Aurora is really kind of so apropos for this whole year, because we really are breaking the box of thought. And we are trying to inspire each other through new actions, new ways of thinking and being. Aurora is being joined by the leader card, the stag. Merlina is being joined by the fire fairy. Oceana is being joined by the raven. And Chantal is being joined by the water fairy. I have a client who I'm pretty sure is not watching these videos, but I'm telling you, she's a Gemini, and every time I pull Gemini, we pull love cards. And this girl needs to understand love is coming to her. But anyway, side note, Aurora talks about flying high right now. Don't descend, that you will soon inspire others, even if they're a little weird about it right now. And I want to offer it this way, because Gemini, you rule our everyday activities. You rule teaching, speaking, writing, emails, short trips. I mean, there's so many things that you rule. Mercury rules, and it's time to stand in leadership right now, in leadership of your own way of thinking, of your own experiences will have led you to a certain dynamic and way of thinking. And I don't know that it needs to be in agreement with everybody else. So for me, this is standing in leadership. And I want to say that in your opportunity, your obstacle is Merlina, again, talking about needing to do research and, seek expert advice. But I don't necessarily think that's it. I think it's about the magic of creation. I think it's the magic of creative action. I almost feel like I want to say to Gemini, you know what, if you have a coloring book, if you have a paint easel, if you have a slab of clay, if you have a garden, go out and do something creative, because that will lift the confusion. That's where I'm going with this. I don't know that I think you're indecisive. I think that Gemini wants to have an experience on this planet in love. I'm going straight with the love body, that is elevated, that is not an average experience. I don't think they want to just go on Match.com, find the first guy who will say yes, and go to the altar. I think they want to stand in that kind of relationship that is enviable, that leaders stand in, a closeness. And now is time to be creative in your action, because it's a matter of timing for you, Gemini. And it's time to lovingly assert yourself that you've been asking for magic, and that there's a certain amount of synchronistic events that must take place, and those are out of your hands. You know, oftentimes girls will come to me, and I'm not trying to go to genders, but girls come and they go, I've been doing the work. Where's my guy? Guys don't quite say things like that. They say it a little differently, but what I don't think people understand when we're looking for our life partner is that, well, we may be doing the work, but they on some level have to do the work to meet us at our vibration. So those more dramatic relationships that we have, the ones that feel roller coastery, we may be a little roller coastery ourselves. But as we start to settle into a clearer vision of what we want, then we have to anchor. We get to anchor ourselves in that vision, no matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter whether they've experienced that. That's not their vibration is not your vibration, because in the final position is Chantal, the angel of romance. And either a new romance is coming or the resurgence of a current romance. And there's the water fairy. And you intuitively know this. Gemini, I believe you know this. And I believe there's a part of you, because you go back and forth, because you're the twins, because you rule the mind, that you may sometimes buy into the idea, am I an idiot? Am I waiting for something to show up that isn't going to ever show up? But then there's that interior knowing. It says, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. And I want to offer this to Gemini, because I have felt that many people come to a certain season and they think that romance is over or romance is not available to them anymore. I've been shown by Spirit that we're rewriting that right now. It is being transcended. It is being transformed. So in addition to all the other dynamics that are going on this planet, we are rewriting love and our viability of it. So those of a certain age, let's say you're in your late 30s or even your early 40s and you've never been married and you've never had children, it's something you always want. It's still viable. I don't care what the OBGYN says. I don't care if they say, your eggs are dying. Do you know that infertility was only around for the last 20 years and man managed to stay around for tens of thousands of years? So I'm not really going to go there. Okay. Yes, there are some people that have challenges with their fertility, but your job, Gemini, is not to worry about the challenge right now. It's to focus on the viability. Why can't you be the 1 in a million? Why not? Somebody's got to be it. So that's where I'm going. There's plenty of time left, Ruth, plenty of time left. And now that's part of the law of allowing yourself to know that I'm a little different. I didn't plan on being the 22-year-old who got married and had children. I wanted to be the 42-year-old. That's okay. Because there's somebody out there going, well, if she could do it at 42, 52, 62, 72, maybe I can too. So there you go. All right, let's go on to our Tauruses. Because I think love's in the air for Gemini. And it may not be love like you're thinking just love relations. It could be love something. Okay. Oops. I'm taking a class. I'm actually being mentored by Brian Coulter in learning how to read the past lives. I've been doing that for a couple months now. Pretty excited about that. At 49, goddess essence energy. That is wonderful to hear. You know, good for your dad. So you had a sibling when your dad was 49. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Korea. Okay, Taurus, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. And you know, Uranus is traversing Taurus right now. So there's a high probability that many of you can be feeling that energy, that T-square, that kinetic energy. That it could be excitement and it could be, you know, a panic attack. It could be nerves. Gentility with yourself and grounding yourself, doing your best to walk in dirt, grab a stone, even if you have to go out into your yard and grab any old rock. That any old rock is a viable device to help you ground yourself. Okay. Taurus, Crystal saying, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. There's Fiona saying, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving their guidance. Athena is asking you to assert yourself in a loving way. And Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right. Wow, Juan, your dad was 51 when he had you? Holy cow. Good for him. Ruth, you are just a youthful 68 and love. Listen, some love to you. Okay, here we go. Crystal's being joined by the love card, Taurus. Fiona's being joined by the wealth card. Athena's being joined by the high priestess. And Isabella's being joined by the queen. All right, Taurus. Rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Crystal says to have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon that you can't see. And there's the love card. I love the love card because this really feels like intimate love to me. It doesn't feel like family love or friendship love or love of your dog. It feels like this is something that you've wanted. I know my Taurus moon ruled by Venus. I would like some love, but I want good loving, not just any loving. Because in the opportunity of the obstacle is Fiona. Now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving them. And then here's the harmonious wealth card. I want to say it this way. I feel like Taurus is like, you know, I'm good. I want love, but I don't want love out of balance. I want love. If it's good, it's good. If it's one of those old relationships I used to have, no, I'm not interested. And Spirit is saying to you, Keep asserting yourself lovingly towards the vision of what you want, because you know, Taurus, intuitively it's coming. You know, you can feel it. It's brewing. You want to be scared, Taurus, because Uranus is traversing your sign and you're feeling a little anxious, but at the same time, I don't know. I think if you went a little deeper, you'd be like, I kind of believe it's going to happen, because in the final position is, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And there's the Queen. What did we talk about the Queen earlier? This is about receiving. It's not about trying. So as we stand in that faith, I know love is coming to me. And all I have to do is assume the position. Now, if you're a man and you want love, the Queen is not representing a female. The Queen is representing receptivity. She's representing relaxed energy. See how open-bodied she is? Even the people around her are very relaxed. They're not jumping at attention to serve her. So, and Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right for this. So I want to say that whatever Taurus loves, because you could be in a relationship, in a perfectly great relationship right now, and you want to move to the next level. You want to get a house. You want to start to have children. Or you've been in a relationship for a long time, and it's time you want to retire, and you want to go on vacation with, and hang out with the person you love, instead of being obligated to do all the different things that you do in the season of busyness in a life when you first have kids and all of that kind of stuff. Because for Taurus, I think that that's what Uranus has to offer, is in some ways you could potentially be plodding along in that very Taurian kind of way, thinking nothing's going to change. It's all the same. And then Uranus goes, bam, wait, I'm going to liberate you from that thought. But in some ways, you have to cooperate with that thought. This is your opportunity and or your obstacle to know that God is bringing you the harmonious wealth, the things you want. This isn't just money. It's money, it's health, it's love, it's good food, good wine, good second house stuff. And there it is. Keep your eye on your vision and lovingly assert yourself, because yes, the timing is right, but you can't do anything about it. You can't go out and find it. You can't excavate it out of your yard. You can only sit and receive it. So pretend you're at In-N-Out Burger. You've ordered your double. You're in your car. You're about to go up to the line. You've already paid. You're just waiting to receive. All right, let's go on to Aries, final sign. Rising Sun, Moon, and Stelliums. Oh, Nikki, I'm glad that you laughed, because you know what? Uranus was meant to be laughed at. Lots of things are meant to be laughed at. I want to start with the angels. And Sphinx BL, just focus on that healthy love. What are the characteristics of that healthy love? How does it feel? It feels honest. It feels trusting. I feel full from it. I feel satisfied. I feel validated and valued. I feel cherished. Those are the qualities. As we focus on those, because oftentimes when we want to create a relationship, and I'm going to relationships specifically because it's the most vulnerable place, we spend 1 second or 10 seconds thinking about the great relationship we want, and then we boomerang inadvertently back to where we've been. And I did it exactly on this broadcast. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. Don't want liars, cheaters, beaters. Don't want someone who leaves the toilet seat up. Don't want someone who breathes too loud. I mean, I could go on and on about what I don't want, but it's not the way to manifest. It's actually counterintuitive for me to manifest that direction. So if I truly want to manifest and I'm paying attention, then I'm going to say to Spirit, I want someone who puts the toilet seat down. I want somebody who breathes and it sounds like the ocean. I want somebody who is generous of heart. And I'm going to focus in on all the things that I want, not what I don't want. And that helps Spirit get me out of my own way. No, Martina, you can watch Pisces. Pisces is your sun. Leo is your rising. So most people will say to watch your rising, your sun, and then your moon. I say watch your rising and your moon. Those are two most important. Then I say sun, but I kind of think a stellium, because if there is a large concentration, 4 planets or more in one area on your chart, it's going to have a lot of influence over you. And then what I've learned, because it used to confuse me when I would listen to all 3, I listened to them almost as if they were individuals. And then what I ended up starting to do was to listen for the common theme that was happening within the 3 different signs. And that helped me get the message more succinctly. So, okay, let's go on to our final sign, Aries, rising sun, moon, and stelliums. Welcome, Daddy Stalin from Russia. Good to see you. We love new people. You're always welcome here. Fun group of people. Okay, here we go, Aries. A lot of action in your house. Mars traversing, Mars squaring Pluto. Ooh, it's so fun. Okay. Shanti, the angel of peace. There's Sonia. She represents a deceased loved one. There's Oceana. We've seen Oceana a bunch of times, and Shanti. And then we have Serena. Boy, same angels are coming out. So there's a definite theme here. Definite theme of seeking out and standing in a peaceful place, not for others, but for ourselves. And then connecting with spirit. So Shanti's being joined by the letting go card. Sonia's being joined by the love card. Oceana is being joined by the focus card. And Serena is being joined by the movement. Last week, I think it was, I mentioned a movie called The Shack. I don't know if any of you actually got a chance to see it. It's a movie about a man who experiences probably one of the worst things that a person can experience as a parent, and that's the loss of a child through violence. And the journey is Mac's reconciliation of the experience. And it's really a very powerful movie because Mac is not a perfect person. Yes, Nikki, it's a great film, great book. And I feel like this is really important, or really pertinent, I should say, to Aries right now, because Aries is a forceful energy. Aries takes action. Aries seeks the truth. But sometimes maybe that action is taken too quickly and not really allowed to absorb all the information. Because when I look at this, I see Shanti, the angel of peace, and I see the letting go card. And I don't think this is ever about letting go of anything, but it's about fear and how the reconciliation of my fear brings me peace. Of all the signs, Aries is willing to walk into a battle. It's willing to stand in that fearful energy. And when you're in battle, you don't have time to assess things. You must be instinctual in many ways, and you must allow your instincts to take over. And I think that this is where Shanti is really coming to play, because I feel like this is about my instincts. It's about Aries seeking peace within themselves. I don't think this is about being peaceful out into the world, because it's about looking at yourself from a loving energy. And I want to say this too, because I could say, oh, look at the world through loving eyes, but it's not easy to do that right now, because so much unrest and so many secrets are being unearthed, and people that we thought were one way are turning out to be very different. So this loving energy coming from spirit, to me, feels like the reconciliation of who and what I am. And that is giving me some peace, because in the angel's advice is Oceana. Again, we talk about here she's swimming through the ocean. The ocean represents our emotions and our intuitions. She's in the light, and she's ascending towards her soul's destiny. And it's time to focus on that right now. And that focus is really love. And I want to, love is such a subjective word. I love ice cream. I love you. I love my TV show. If we break that down, it's something that brings us joy. Love is something that brings us a sense of excitement. It makes the world worth being in. And I feel like for Aries this week, it's really about standing in that energy, standing in that wisdom, that disruption. There's a reason there's war. It's not just to take over someone's land. Sometimes the war comes from protecting the innocent, or standing in an energy to defend those that cannot defend themselves. So I feel there's a little bit about rewriting the story right now for Aries. The full moon may be letting go of this harsher judgment and perception, and then having a more, I don't want to use the word forgiving. I guess accepting would be the word I would use. Accepting energy for the ups and the downs of being so assertive. It's, Aries and Leo are very assertive in the big world. Like it's obvious. You see them, you know it. There they are. Other signs are more subtle in their bigness. They don't come at us, because I don't think Serena is talking about money right now. I think she's talking about the serenity and moving towards a more serene place of understanding Aries and your energy and what it means to be courageous and to be adventurous and to be brave. And to be brave sometimes may have to be brash. I think we talked about The Shack. There's another book called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. It's a Christian book. So I will tell you that I did not follow the second half of the book because it's sort of a workbook, but the first part of the book is a fable. And it's about a character named Ordinary who lives in the land of familiar. And Ordinary has a big dream, but in order to facilitate that dream, he must go into the desert of his dreams and leave the land of familiar. And when he embarks upon this adventure, there's what they call the border bullies. And the border bullies are standing on the edge of the land of familiar and the desert of dreams. And they're like, Ordinary, how will you do this? How will you live? How will you eat? How will you pay for your children's schooling? You can't go have that big dream. You won't make it. Stay here where it's familiar. But Aries says, no, I'm going to go in the desert of my dreams. And I'm going to continue to have courage and faith as I move forward. And I think that's what this is about. I think that tension between the way you're perceived, the sun, and the moon, the way you feel on the inside, squaring Uranus, wanting to have that liberation, that freedom to express yourself without the label of being harsh or being abrasive or being rash or being rude. And I feel like that's part of where the peace comes in, is as Aries allows themselves a more self-accepting way of viewing yourself and knowing that you really are standing as an agent of love. And that's why you were born in Aries, or an Aries rising, or an Aries moon, because you are brave of heart and Spirit stands there with you. And now it's time to focus on the bigger mission. Okay, that's it for this week. I want to thank everybody for being here. We started off talking about ones, and here we have 111 people in the room. 110, but we still got those ones. So we have a full moon in Aquarius, 11th house, ones representing our thoughts. We're being liberated from thoughts that don't serve us. We're being liberated from activities and from dynamics and from rules and regulations that don't serve us anymore, that we've evolved past. And our job in some ways is to stand in that loving energy for ourselves so that we can then ripple that out to others. So that's it for this week. I want to thank you all for joining. If you'd like to book a reading with me, you're welcome to go to Lada's website. I'm under the readers menu. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here every week, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific. I look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you so much. Peace out. Oh.